Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Sense of Humor podcast, where we talk anything pop culture or anything that interests us. We're your hosts, Multimite or Tyler, and Phantom Voyager or Travis.
Hello.
It has been a little while since we last hung out. I think the last thing we did was straight up just the podcast.
Yeah, I think so. I haven't touched my console in a week.
I was gonna say you've been gone a while, and I was like, oh, where'd he go? But yeah, no, it's good to see you again. It's good to have you back on. What has been going on in your week since get into the small talk, or if it's something personal, you don't have to, and talk about something else.
No, no, it's not nothing bad. It's just um since we had people quit, we have to work 6-day weeks with no breaks besides Sundays. So
Jeez.
that's partially why I haven't been on. I've just been too tired and exhausted.
No, that's fair, honestly. Like all the long days I have, like if I'm ever not on, even if it's just to look at like the shop or something, it's yeah, because I had a long day of work, so totally understandable. You feel like you've gotten the rest you needed, or do you need more?
Honestly, I feel like I have what I need. Um, I mean, I'm probably gonna sleep in tomorrow, but other than that, yeah, I feel pretty
Yeah,
fine.
I was gonna say, don't blame you there. I might just do the same. But yeah, any new things besides work or like how's the new dog?
Oh, yeah, she's doing better now. Her and the cat, they don't really interact with each other at all. They kind of just avoid each other, which is fine. Um, Other than that, she's pretty good. She's pretty chill. She likes to go outside and play a lot, which is okay. But she thinks that she's like a puppy. She thinks she's small, and she'll like try to jump up
Uh,
on your lap all the time, which I don't complain about. I love the puppy attention, so.
yeah, no, that's cute. I think it's funny anytime like yeah, like a dog like either underestimate or overestimates their size. Like it's funny how dogs are like that because especially big dogs, like you just said, like a bigger dog thinks they're a lot smaller than they are, and vice versa. Like the small dogs are all yappy because they think they're a lot bigger than they are. Um, yeah, I honestly haven't done too much. I will say though, I have been on the realm like this whole week because I'm working on the surprise finally that I was doing for you and the other guys. Unfortunately though, Andrew spoiled it for himself because while I was working on it, he TP'd to the surprise,
How
and I'm a
does
little mad.
I don't even know how he has TP. I didn't give him commands for it.
Either Garion did, if he has that power, because he has the same power as you, or I don't know. Yeah, I can't remember if Garion. I don't know. Garion wasn't on, so yeah, no, he must have somehow became a
Admin.
whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I'm a little upset, but it's fine. Like we'll I'll still show it off because it's not done. I will say that. Like um. I honestly wouldn't go anywhere near my two current houses because that's where the surprise is. It's closer to the first one I made like that distance ago, but the second one yeah, it's a little bit further than this from the second house, the log cabin. Um
Okay. I was gonna say because like I hopped on earlier when I first came home and I wanted to try going for Happy Gas, but I remembered I died and I went back to the main spawn point and I don't know how to get home and I forgot I could teleport myself with commands. So I was just like, you know what? I'm getting off. I'm not doing this. I'll wait till
yeah,
someone else gets on.
I don't blame you there either, honestly. Also, did so is Happy Gas finally in the game then?
That's what I keep hearing. I keep hearing like I watched some YouTubers play Minecraft with Happy Guests. I've seen some like some stuff on or on Twitter, or I've seen some, just some like I've seen a lot of people mention it. So I'm not 100% positive. That's why I wanted to check myself. But
No, that's fair. Yeah, no, I. So the last time me and you played on the Minecraft realm, that was when I left because I went to go celebrate Mother's Day and you teleported me into the Nether.
yeah,
And I get back and I'm like, wait, I didn't bring food. And you were gone already. And I was like, well, I guess I'll just kill some of the swine things to get food. And then as I was like kind of going further into the nether, trying to find a bastion or anything, um, all right, well, I didn't mean to do this, but that's fine.
oh, sorry.
Um, no,
I thought,
honestly, I
I
think
thought
this
this
is kind of
is what you
cool.
were trying to do.
Yeah, no, they honestly, I'm fine with it because this works. This is a little. If you guys hear me scream, it's because of a jump scare. That's why. Um, but anyway, yeah, like that's when I died the second or third time. Like I can't
Because
remember.
Because like what I did was I thought you were still there, and I was like, oh, I'll just TP you here, and your character moved, but I forgot it's just the animation, and so I was like, oh, he's
Uh,
still here, so I just put a box around you, and I was like, I'll keep him safe just in case if he like comes back or anything.
yeah, no. When I got back, I was hoping you were there because I was like, oh, hopefully he has some food on him or something. But yeah, no. Unfortunately, I got there too late, which is fine because honestly, um, I'm kind of glad I died because it kind of gave me some time to where I don't need to grind. I can just.
This map's very laggy. I don't know about you.
Oh, is it?
It's laggy for me, but
Maybe it's in this. No, not for me. But we can do something else if you want to.
um, what would you want to do?
I honestly, whoa. I mean, I don't mind what we do. It's just like I was planning on trying this before, but I never got to it. Um, but anyway, so actually, I don't know what I was gonna say to be honest. I think it was just Minecraft, really. Um,
Yeah, we can go back to the lobby. My game's being very glitchy.
okay, yeah, we'll do that. But, yeah, to the topic, I guess. I was struggling to figure out a topic, and honestly, I think I came up with one. I don't know how interesting this will be. Like, I think it's interesting, but I don't know if I'll explain it in an interesting way, if that makes sense. Um, but
What's up? What were you gonna say?
all right, sorry, I'm back.
Oh, you're good.
What anyway? Oh, freaking, I did it again. The topic is so we've kind of covered Star Wars like a couple of times since May 4th, but like in the honor of like this season and everything. Um I am pretty excited to talk about this one because I've been rewatching the show, and that is The Mandalorian. But we're not
Mm,
necessarily talking about just the show, The Mandalorian itself. I'm excited to talk about like Mandalorians as a race or culture or however you want to deem them,
okay.
because yeah, that's kind of the topic I wanted to touch upon today. So I'll kind of like pull up some facts and stuff because growing up, how I knew what a Mandalorian was is this Lego book that I found,
Hmm.
and in the Lego book, it talks about some of Boba Fett's markings, and one of them is the mythosaur marking on his armor, which is like the little skull with tusks that he has. Everyone
Mm,
probably knows what I'm talking about, but
yeah.
basically, it said something along the lines of like, this is the the symbol of the Mandalorians or whatever. And I was like, oh, so Boba Fett's what's called a Mandalorian, and that's also what Jango Fett was. And then, obviously in the show, The Mandalorian during season 2, when we get a surprise appearance of Boba Fett, we see that, oh, wait, he's not a Mandalorian, but his dad was. But because of Mandalorian tradition and whatnot, the armor is still his, and, so he still uses it because, I mean, obviously, who wouldn't want bullet slash lightsaber proof like armor in that universe?
Yeah.
Um, but also, yeah, no, I think ever since I learned that word, I was like, oh, that's interesting. I didn't know like he had a specific like group he was a part of, and I didn't even know like there was more than him and his dad at the time. Thought like, oh, they just call themselves the Mandalorians. Um, but then in the 2008 or 2009 TV show The Clone Wars, we
Hmm.
get some more Mandalorian information. We learn about the planet Mandalore and its involvement in like the Clone Wars and the war itself. In the in the story or in the series, it explains that they're at what's called a neutral system. So they're not with the Republic or the Separatists. So they're not with the good guys or the bad guys, basically.
So they're like
Um,
their own organization, basically.
Pretty much, and like one could even say like that's exactly the alignment of both like Boba Fett and Jango Fett. Like, I think obviously they'd have their own quarrels with like specific characters. Like, let's take Luke Skywalker for example. Like, even though he's a good guy, I feel like Boba Fett would have a problem with him. But the Mandalorian, even though he has a good friendship with Boba Fett and everything, he wouldn't have a problem with Luke Skywalker because he literally takes care of Grogu and all that. So
Yeah.
yeah, no, I think it's kind of cool, like the whole neutral thing. They fall under that. But also during the Clone Wars series, we find out that Obi-Wan kind of has an attachment for the planet because of the woman that rules Mandalore,
Which is
and we find
who?
out her name is Satine. Um, she's basically Obi-Wan's version of Padme. So he kind of
Mm.
explains to Anakin that when he was younger, him and Qui-Gon were uh, basically tasked with protecting her because Mandalore is known for its warrior past. Like, they were conquering other planets and such. Like, I mean, well, so they had like the most advanced weaponry and armor at the time.
Okay.
But then the Jedi came along, and that's where we learned that Mandalores hate Jedi, or at least like consider them enemies of their race.
Is it because
Um,
like they took all their stuff, or just used them,
so
or?
if Legends is still canon, or at least some of it, there was a Jedi known as Revan. He was basically the Anakin of that era.
Okay.
He basically slaughtered like so many Mandalorians. Eventually, he
Whoa.
took like kind of the mantle of leader and basically forced them to give up like trying to conquer other planets and such. So, yeah,
But
like
why? Did he have
basically,
a reason behind it, or is it just because he wanted to prove himself or something?
oh no, he did it because they were harming other planets. Like, not everyone wanted to be under the Mandalorian rule, like, because if that was the case, like, everyone in the universe would be wearing a helmet and not taking it off and kind of following those traditions of the storyline. But,
Oh.
obviously that's not the case. So yeah, we kind of dive deeper and deeper into lore. That's that's where I get a lot of my information in terms of the lore of the story and everything.
It,
So,
okay.
um, but newer concepts that were added in Mandalorian or in yeah the Mandalorian show was stuff like oh yeah like the dark saber means you're the ruler. I don't think that was, or actually, I think that was made a tradition by Darth Maul or something, because in Clone Wars, Darth Maul comes back, and what he decides to do is take over Mandalore and basically make it his mission to get revenge on Obi-Wan for cutting him in half and everything. Um, but yeah, no, there's a lot of crazy stuff. I recommend a lot of people who haven't seen the show go watch it because I do it so much disjustice by trying to even explain a lot of it when, the lore and storytelling itself speaks for itself. Like I cannot stress enough how I feel like it's important to watch the Clone Wars to not only like get more of the storytelling but appreciate the prequels and also enjoy newer characters like Ahsoka. Like Ahsoka is probably one of my favorite Jedi characters of all time. So, and heck, my favorite character in throughout the whole Star Wars universe is from the Clone Wars. So, yeah, no, I recommend definitely giving it a once over at least. And if you don't like it, I mean, to each their own. But if you do, you'll probably rewatch it like 7, 10 times, like I have. But who knows?
Like I like the Mandalorians. I think they're a cool concept, but like, what made them go into hiding? Do you know, or?
Yes, so they kind of touch upon it in the Mandalorian show, but basically it touches more of that upon in the Rebels TV show, which takes place between episode 3 and episode 4. So we kind of get some more background, like, hey, like, this is what happened, and they called it the Purge. So basically, the Empire nuked the entire planet to the point of,
Oh,
like, it making it uninhabitable. Like, it was, like, radiated. So basically, yeah, like, it was kind of like, you know, anytime somewhere is nuked on our planet, it can't be inhabited for like years because it takes forever for the radiation to kind of like air out. So it's kind of similar that way.
hmm.
Um, and that's why a lot of the Mandalorians are in hiding is because they're just being hunted down and killed off. And, like a lot of them didn't survive the purge as well as like just a lot of them were threatened because of their armor or weapons or whatever. Like that's what the Mandalorians were most known for was like their technology of war and how they used it to like again conquer like planets and other systems and everything. So, yeah,
Okay.
no like but what where it becomes interesting is after their kind of like selfish desires to like conquer, planets and such. Then it just became let's revive our own planet. That's where their race became interesting to me. I mean, they were always interesting to me, but like when I heard about the whole like they tried to take over the entire galaxy and have it all under the Mandalore rule, I was like, okay, well they're definitely the villains in this case. Like I get the concept of like wanting to be unified as one, people, but it also just, doesn't work like that even in the real world. So, everyone's different, everyone has their own opinions, and although not everyone shares the exact same opinion, they do fall under like specific like, uh governments and such.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's not what interests me more so though. Like what interests me is the like well obviously yeah, the rebuilding of Mandalore and not to mention the dark saber which I haven't touched upon yet but is probably one of the coolest parts of the Mandalorian lore. Um but yeah, so I would say do your like I don't want to call it homework or even like say like say it as in I'm
Research.
demanding it, but yeah, like do your research and everything. I think what interests me though is like if I was a part of a race that was accepted in society in like in the Star Wars society where basically I get to wear a helmet all day, heck yeah. I would love to wear a helmet for the rest of my life. I think that'd be cool. But also it'd probably be kind of sad because I'm sure like, you, they only get to show it to themselves. And I think in Mandalorian tradition, if they marry a fellow Mandalorian, they can show them their face, but I'm not entirely sure of the lore on that. But also, what's cool about the Mandalorians is anyone can be one. Uh, hence
It's
the
not like passed
foundlings.
down or anything.
Well, it is, but it isn't. Like, so I guess technically it's not everyone. Like, if you're, it's kind of like the Jedi, where like they take young kids and train them in their ways. So kind of like Din Djarin from The Mandalorian, he was a foundling, which is a kid who's like taken in by the Mandalorians and taught their traditions and everything. So, yeah, no, I would say like it's a cooler concept than the Jedi. Like obviously the Jedi have like the Force and everything, but like to kind of uphold these more like cuz I feel like what makes the Mandalorians interesting is they're super monotone. Like you'd think that they'd be more full of emotion and whatnot, but like all the Mandalorians, especially Din Djarin, when they talk to like any character, they're super monotone. Like they have no emotion, and I think that's what makes them such intense, such like interesting characters, and like probably what makes them so feared through the galaxy, or even admired for that matter. So I will say though, the trope of like every Mandalorian that's been shown being a bounty hunter is a little uninteresting. So to kind of go to the dark saber, who was owned by the first Mandalorian Jedi, which is almost like a conundrum because like it's like well they're enemies. How could he be both? Um, but yeah, no, he's a Mandalorian Jedi, so he kind of like falls under both sides. Like he's a peacekeeper, but he also falls under the Mandalorian tradition of like wanting to take rule of the galaxy and whatnot.
Okay, so I have another question. I don't know if it's been answered before or if it is or whatnot, but is Grogu technically Mandalorian or is he not?
Yes, yes, he is because he was adopted by Din Djarin, so he is a Mandalorian. How it'll work, I have no idea because from what I could tell, the only Mandalorians are human Mandalorians. Like I don't think we've seen an alien Mandalorian other than Grogu, which is a good point. Yeah, like I have no idea what they're gonna do for him. Like, are they gonna give him his own helmet and armor, or is he gonna just wear the chainmail, like the little like vest thing that Mando has the armorer make for him? So
Yeah. I
I
want to
don't
know
know.
if we're gonna see more of him or no.
I hope so, because honestly, like I'm really looking forward to the Mandalorian and Grogu movie that's coming out. But yeah, we'll see. I hope it turns out to be really good.
Because that was one of my favorite series so far was of Star Wars is their Mandalorian series.
Yeah, no, I think that's one of the few that hold up. Like I think Rebels is a solid series, Clone Wars is a solid series. I didn't like Kenobi or Boba Fett. I liked Ahsoka and I liked Mandalorian obviously. So, but yeah, no, I definitely agree with you on the it being like one of the better like even TV shows as a whole on Disney Plus. Like I would consider it up there with all of them.
I really like Mandalorians. I think they were cool. Like Boba Fett's, I was really bummed out about his series. I was really hoping it would be, you know, a lot more than what it was. But
So, from my understanding, is originally the Mandalorian was supposed to be Boba Fett. Like he was supposed to be like Boba Fett, and it was supposed to be movies at one point. But then,
mm,
Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau, the two guys that worked on it. So Dave Filoni's the creator um, of the Clone Wars and the Rebels and everything, like, and the Ahsoka show. Like he created Ahsoka's character, and added her, and got George Lucas's permission to do that. Like he was basically George Lucas's like protege or student. Like he really looked up to the guy in terms of storytelling. So, um, that's kind of where Dave Filoni falls in. And then a lot of people probably know Jon Favreau a lot more. He's the guy who plays Happy Hogan in Iron Man. He also directed all three Iron Man movies, or at least the first one.
mm.
He was he was in a couple of other movies, but yeah, no, like he's a really cool actor and director and story writer for that matter. Like he did such a good job on the Mandalorian series. I think there are obviously some slow or like dumb moments throughout the series, but like no show's perfect. Like I skip through episodes even in the Clone Wars or any other show that I watch, but you know, that's just to get past like the fillers or the um other things that just don't sit well with me like
Because
or go ahead.
oh, I was just gonna say like I remember Boba Fett mostly from whenever I think it was probably Boba Fett's dad, right? Whenever he got yeah eaten by the sand monster or the sandworm or whatever it was.
That was
What
Boba Fett.
that was
Boba Fett
Boba Fett? Okay.
Yeah, Boba Fett was the one that was eaten by the Sarlacc. Jango Fett, who is Boba Fett's dad, was killed by Mace Windu.
Okay. I remember both of them. I I don't know. Like I like them both. I think that's what really got me into like those likable characters because like they're human, but they just have like jetpacks with armor, and they're not like overpowered people with superpowers, which I don't hate. It just I like to be able to find characters in shows that are mo basically all human, but like it's like something we could do if we had the ability, like had the armors and stuff. But
Yeah, no, like I agree with you there. Like I think the Mandalorians, well, not only does their armor look so freaking cool, but yeah, like the advances of their technology and weapons and stuff, like their whole arsenal. Like I think Mando kind of like goes through it the most out of all the three characters, but that's because like I would consider in the movies at least Boba Fett and Jango Fett were kind of like throwaway characters. Like everyone thought like, oh, Boba Fett's dead in the Sarlacc pit, but he shows back up again in both canon and non-canon like versions of the story. Like in Legends, which is the non-canon stuff but used to be canon stuff, he was saved by a fellow bounty hunter from the Sarlacc pit, and then obviously in the new show, he like literally like dug himself out of the Sarlacc. So, like, I mean,
okay.
he's overall just a bad A character. Like, I think he's very interesting. There was also another storyline where he fell back into it, and the Sarlacc was like communicating with him like telepathically, and I'm like, what the heck? Like,
What? That's wild.
yeah, like there was a lot of interesting versions of like how Boba Fett actually survived and everything, but yeah, no, like as much as I don't like the series, I do think it's cool like they made it so that Boba Fett's like strong enough to climb out of the Sarlacc himself, but yeah. I mean, I think it is like I think all versions are cool, like but yeah, no, I don't mind the Boba Fett shows being the canon answer of how he got out of the Sarlacc pit. What I do have a problem with is him, becoming the daimyo or whatever, and like becoming a ruler over a city instead of, a I don't know, like a bounty hunter. But then a lot of people pointed out, well, then it would just be the Mandalorian series again. And I'm like, that is a good point. Like, if he was also a bounty hunter, it would basically just be the same show with a different character. So I get why they didn't make him a bounty hunter. I just wish that they did. Like, I wish he was the bounty hunter and then maybe make, like, Din Djarin the savior of, Mandalore or something. Like he's the one that finds Bo-Katan so she can be the leader of the Mandalorian, group again and whatnot. Like I don't know. I think it would have been more interesting. In fact, that's what I'm hoping for in the Mandalorian and Grogu show or movie is that they kind of touch upon what happened during season 3 where they reunited two different clans of Mandalore, and that's what one thing I want to touch upon in a second as well is the clans, but like how the Mandalorians are like all one people, but also they celebrate their religion in different ways. Like Din Djarin's clan, they celebrate it according to the Armorer or Bo-Katan more so the olden ways, where like you have to keep your helmet on, you have to like find younglings and or not younglings but foundlings and train them to be the next generation of Mandalore. Like anyone can be Mandalorian and everything. And then you got Bo-Katan, who believes in like a less traditional fashion where like they need to be born of Mandalore and they need to like they don't need to keep their helmets on and they should be trying to not just survive but also rebuild the planet. So like, and I think that's another thing is like the or Din Djarin's clan just believes in survival more than anything, whereas Bo-Katan's clan believes in reviving Mandalore as a whole and
Hmm.
reuniting all the clans for that matter. So I think that's interesting. In Rebels, there's another Mandalorian character, and we even see her in Ahsoka. Her name's Sabine. She's a badass, and I will say, like, I think, or I hope at least, that they'll bring her in somehow to also reunite all of Mandalore, but who knows? But yeah, no, that always bothered me when the first season of Mandalore came out, because I was like, they never take off their helmets and everything, and I was like, that was never a rule in like the Clone Wars or in Rebels or anything. And then when they
Yeah.
explained it in season 2, when they introduced like Bo-Katan, I was like, oh, that makes more sense. There's different clans, and that explains it. That explains the lore behind like why they are both different with each other. So yeah, no, I like that they did that. They cleared things up because I wasn't the only one in the fandom that was like, what do you mean they can't remove their helmets? So they literally do it all the time during the Clone Wars. But yeah, that's just because
So, like, I don't, or I might be forgetting, but I mean, I know he removed Mando removed his helmet, and everything. So did he redeem himself, or is he like still in trouble for that?
no. So yeah, they in season 3, he goes back to Mandalore and he had to bathe in the waters of Mandalore. I can't remember what like the actual name for it was, but basically
Isn't
he
that when
had
he saw the Rancor or whatever it was called?
the mythosaur. Yes, that's when. Well,
Yeah. Okay.
he didn't see it, but Bo-Katan did. And like, I guess
Okay.
there's some prophecy that they kind of touched upon in the season 3, like when Bo-Katan brings it up to the armorer. Like she's like, what if like the mythosaur was back or whatever? Like Um, because the mythosaur was technically, or thought to be at least, extinct because the Mandalorians hunted them all down. So, and
Hmm.
then it was said, like, in legend, like, whoever rode the mythosaur would become the leader of the Mandalorians, which is kind of funny because I didn't watch it, but I found this out that there was a Christmas special animated show, like way back when, before like the prequels were even made. In that movie, Boba Fett rides a mythosaur. So I'm like, so is Boba Fett the leader of
Hmm.
Mandalore? But apparently, it's either not canon or it wasn't a mythosaur. 'Cause, like what was it, in the animated show or movie or whatever, the special, it looked more like the Bronchiosaurus, the long-necked dinosaurs.
Yeah, the ones with that look basically like a giraffe.
Yeah, whereas in the Mandalorian it shows like they're much beefier and like way bigger. Like I can't remember the size difference between like Bo and Din compared to the Mythosaur, but I'm pretty sure they were pretty freaking huge, if I'm not mistaken. Like they were like the size of its eye or something.
Speaking of Boba Fett's on me right now.
Oh yeah, that's what's his face? That's Moff Gideon in Mandalorian armor, and then yeah, you just ned down to Boba Fett.
See, so they are good characters. Quite proven. They are very strong.
Well, not Moff Gideon apparently, because if you remember what happens to him in the end of season 3.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of people are saying he's not dead though. A lot of people are saying like he's
Did we ever see a body?
I was gonna say, like, a lot of people are saying like he's a clone of Moff Gideon, like that wasn't the real Moff Gideon, and the real Moff Gideon is off doing some more Empire stuff or whatnot. But I don't know. I honestly
Does
don't
it
know
really
if he.
surprise you with the Empire, though? I mean,
Not
let's be honest.
really, because it keeps coming back. I mean, I wish that was the case in the sequel trilogy, at least compared to like the First Order. I was like, oh, it's the Empire, but with a different name. So what is the difference? Just call yourselves the Empire. Like, I don't know. They even had stormtroopers. They had an evil, ugly looking boss. They had the badass, evil sidekick for the boss. Like, I don't know. It's just I don't know. I'm not here to talk or to complain about the sequels. I'm just here to talk about Mandalorians and whatnot. Which,
Yeah.
speaking of which, the skin is dropping this upcoming week, which I'm excited for.
This week I thought it was like already dropped, and I was like, oh, I missed it.
No,
So I
you
kind of got
definitely
sad. So
didn't, and you don't want to because some leakers like showed it online. It is fully customizable, and I am so
what?
pumped. Yeah, like
Like fully?
the chest piece, the shoulder pads, like the color of the armor, the secondary color. You get to choose your segment or your insignia, I mean. So like there's like the Mudhorn, kind of like Din Djarin has, or you have the Mythosaur like Boba Fett. Like it's so freaking cool. You can choose like
Ooh.
different patterns of the colors. I'm so freaking pumped for that. But yeah, no, like, and
Is it like an event, or is it gonna be like an item shop skin?
so it is an item shop skin, but also, like, I mean, kind of like General Grievous, like, they added more stuff for the story in this game and the challenges and whatnot. But yeah, no, I'm pumped. Like, I was waiting to like stream this game again when that came out. And by the way, I'm sorry again, everyone, for the like slow going of everything. I do want to upload and everything again, but it's just taken me a lot of time, and hopefully it'll, be up and going again eventually. I'm definitely not quitting. I'm not starting a new channel or anything. if anything, I'll probably do something similar to, Travis here and just change the name at the most. But for me, it's going to be same channels, same videos, same branding, nothing else different. It's all going to be the same. Like, you know, like I'm still going to be multi-might at. But anyway, that enough about that.
So Grogu's Mandalorian. Mandalorian is still Mandalorian or Mandalorian. Um, what do you think's gonna happen in the show exactly? Because I am completely lost on what would happen in the show
So I
or
actually
in the
have
movie. I mean,
I have no idea either. A lot of people say it'll lead up to so there was this trilogy of books called The Heir to the Empire, and that's where we're introduced to a character called Thrawn. Basically, picture Palpatine but without all the powers. Like he's very tactical and everything, like hard to beat in a game of like mines or whatever, like a however that saying goes, like a contest of minds or however the saying goes. Like he's hard to challenge mentally. Like he's super smart, super outwitting of other like a lot of other characters. We
okay.
officially see him physically in the Rebels show. We just see how dangerous he is as a character, and then he's brought back in the Ahsoka show. But in Heir to the Empire, um, Luke Skywalker and all his friends in the Rebellion and technically the New Republic have to fight him off in order to keep the Empire from coming back, basically. So it's kind of like
Mm,
basically they're going to war, the whole galaxy's watching, and whoever the winner is gets to take control of the galaxy again. So
that's nuts. So it's basically Hunger Games, but Star Wars. Got it.
kind of like I don't know. I actually don't know much about Hunger Games, so I'm just gonna assume yes.
It's
Um,
like killing everyone and whoever wins wins.
oh, like a battle royale? No,
Yeah.
not necessarily. It's like army against army. Like so,
Okay.
if anything, a 50v50. But yeah, no, like it's pretty crazy. Like I want to get the books and start reading them. Like I don't think they're canon, but a lot of people are saying that the new like Star Wars movies and stuff will take inspiration from the those books, which I'm honestly all down for from hearing everything that I have heard from those books. Especially if they do involve the Mandalorians as a group, and not to mention like if they add other characters, like we finally get to see um, one of the characters from Rebels. A lot of them actually. We get to see live action versions of them finally, and that was super exciting. And if we see the character that I'm talking about from Rebels, who's Ezra, if we see Luke, and if we see Cal Kestis all teaming up against Thrawn, that
Oh,
would
Cal
be
Kestis is so cool.
yeah, dude. If they combined all of them in like one room, just like, all right, this is how we're gonna beat Thrawn, like, and basically rebuild the Jedi Order, like that would be that would be like an endgame moment for a lot of us.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
if anyone who's played the games, watched the shows, watched the movies, like, it's gonna be so freaking cool, and I
I
hope
feel
that
like
is
they
the
would
case.
win.
Oh yeah, no, I think 100%. Like Thrawn is smart, and I think some would admit powerful, but I don't know. Like I don't think he's powerful enough to take on like the son of the chosen one, like one of the surviving Jedi from the start of the rebellion, as well as like a kid who literally survived Order 66. Like I don't know if he's gonna take on like all those guys, and he's even Ahsoka, who's the Padawan of the Chosen One. So not only do they have the son of the Chosen One, they have the Padawan of the Chosen One all on their team, which would
Yeah.
be like I feel like crazy hard to beat, at least to say the least. But I'm sure they'll nerf Nuke or Nuke. They'll nerf Luke a lot because in the comics, not canon ones, bear in mind, because if they were canon, the Luke Skywalker in the sequel trilogy would be a lot cooler and a lot more different, but also a lot more powerful and broken. Like in the comics, he literally learns how to control black holes, like with the Force.
What?
Yeah, no, he's crazy powerful in the comics. So I will say I'm glad he's not that powerful, but just the hallway scene alone with like, him versus the Dark Troopers or yeah, Dark Troopers. That was a really
Cool
cool
scene.
scene. Like I was like I'm not gonna lie, I was teary eyed. I was like, where was this Luke in sequel trilogies, bro? Like where the freak was this Luke? So yeah, no, I was pretty happy to see, Star Wars kind of redeem itself. I feel like for me, and I feel like for a lot of Star Wars fans, it's a hit or miss. Obviously, there are the people that eat up everything Disney throws at them, and I'm not gonna crap talk you for doing that. If you enjoy the sequel trilogy, that is totally up to you. That is totally fine. I personally don't like them. I'm never gonna like exactly praise them or anything. I thought it had potential. I will say that. I did like episode 7, but after episode 8, that's where I lost hope. So, but
So
or go ahead.
does this is a theory that I didn't make up. I heard some like there's these groups like these two people on TikTok I watch or whatever, but they were talking about how remember that main villain with the white hair in Mandalorian? Or was that in Ahsoka? The one that
Uh
was had the lightsaber.
oh, the dark saber? Like the
Dude,
black
I don't
one?
know. I don't know if he had the black saber. He was. Oh gosh, what's his name?
I
Um,
think you're talking about Moff Gideon, but I'm not sure.
no, not Moff Gideon. He's. It might have been in the Ahsoka series. He had like a cape, a red lightsaber. He was really focused on like this orb or something, if I'm remembering that correctly.
Oh man,
Um,
I actually don't
gosh.
know who you're talking about, to be honest. Was
Uh,
it in the Acolyte show? Because I didn't watch the Acolyte. I
Mm-mm.
heard that
I
one
didn't
was pretty
finish that,
bad.
no.
I'm trying to think who you're
How do you,
talking
how do
about.
you spell it? Ahsoka. Ahsoka is.
Ahsoka. Oh wait, yeah, Balin's skull. Yeah, he was the villain in. I totally forgot. He was kind of like the secondary villain of Ahsoka. Yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah,
I just totally forgot about Sinhati and Balin's skull for a second. Yeah, no, they're really cool characters. I'm so sad the actor
because
of Balin's skull passed away.
like what I heard, this is I don't know if it's completely true or not, but apparently there's like this like theory about this like woman or whatever that's like super overpowered with what like the force or whatever, and she's like locked away somewhere or something like that. And I guess people were saying that he was truly looking for her to bring her back, but
So, yes, I've heard this theory as well. She's known as the Mother or Abeloth. She's like a space demon, basically, that fully centers around the dark. So,
yeah,
in the Clone Wars series, we find out that there are three beings that center around the Force, that like kind of control or at least guide the Force and the will of the Force in a way. So in that arc, we find out about the Father, who's a balance between both light and dark, the daughter, who's light, and the son, who's dark. So they're all the kind of like ones that determine what happens like during the war or what happens with characters and such. Like the force is the determining factor, and whoever's the strongest on the planet that they live on, which is
hmm
Mortis, I think, if I'm remembering. And Abeloth is the mother who was just fully corrupted with evil If I'm not mistaken, she birthed the son and the daughter, and then after that, like she kind of went evil. I don't remember how or if there even is details on her lore or whatnot. But basically, she's like the opposite of the father, where she wants the force in chaos, whereas he wanted the force in, peace and unity and like just, overall like everything's balanced out. There's no all good or all bad because too much of either could destroy the very universe, is something along the lines he said. Um,
Oh, okay.
but yeah, no, like it's so interesting to learn more about the Force, like as a concept, because like a lot of people compare it to like other things, like that's like Star Wars universe version of like God or something, because like they don't really express religion a whole lot in the Star Wars universe, except like the Jedi, who again like kind of worship the Force, or rather just use the Force to bring peace to the galaxy. Whereas the Sith are like the ones that kind of pervert the Force and bend it to their will and make it do what they want. So, yeah, no, like it's very
So do you
interesting.
think she would make a comeback, or do you think she's too powerful for a show?
That is a good question, honestly. I would like to see something like that. She'd be kind of like. So I feel like Thrawn would be like Thanos, and Savathun would be like Doom. Or Sabathun, that's freaking Destiny. Abeloth.
Okay.
Abeloth would be like Doom, which would be very interesting. So I would like to see it, but I think kind of like what you said, she may be too powerful. I could be wrong though. Like I think she's doable if they nerf her a lot. Like I would even argue like they could have totally done Starkiller. Like they could have brought him back, but a lot of people are like, "No, they'd have to nerf him into the ground." And I'm like, "Okay, well just nerf him to Luke's level because
Yeah.
that's what Starkiller was if he was trained by Vader. Like if Luke isn't that powerful, then Starkiller wouldn't be that powerful, you know? Like they could easily balance the scales. But, again, to each their own, and I mean, I don't mind one way or another if you know, if one or the other is chosen, but it it's really up for like preference at that point. Like, what would you want to see in the Star Wars universe? Because a lot, like, here's the other thing too, is a
Star
lot of
Killer.
yeah, a lot of Star Wars fans give the the franchise a bad name because a lot of people just like to complain. Like I can fully admit to that. I was one of them at one point. Like whereas now like after all the Star Wars hype again, like I'm willing to give it the benefit of the doubt. Will I ever like the sequel trilogy? No. I won't. I've kind of fully accepted I dislike that part of the series. Like I don't have to like it but also like, hate the rest of Star Wars because of it. Like there's still good Star Wars in my opinion. Like um I'm not saying, you know, that all Disney Star Wars is bad Star Wars either because again, we got The Mandalorian, we got Ahsoka, we got season 7 of the Clone Wars which was canceled originally like way back in like 2014, which is when Rebels was made. So Disney has done a lot of good and bad for that franchise. I know a lot of people would argue more good than bad, but kind of like the Force, I would say it's perfectly balanced. There's good and bad stuff. There's plenty of both to go around. So it's really, really just up to who you are and what your preferences are on storytelling. Like, are you appeased by just the normal, like, oh, it's just a fight on fight, or are you appeased by like the fully thought out plan of the story or whatever? It's just things like those. And again, people just need to kind of take into account and also just follow the golden rule of like show respect to people. Like if they don't share the same opinion, that's okay. Like you don't have to be best friends or anything. Heck, you could probably be best friends because you guys have different opinions. Like, I don't know. I hear opposites attract. Does that only follow under romance? I don't know. I don't date, and I don't really plan to soon. So, but yeah, you get what I mean. Like,
Yeah,
I kind of went on a tangent there, but
that's
yeah,
fine.
we kind of strayed from Mandalorian to Star Wars, which I'm honestly kind of glad because like there is a lot more to discuss about the Mandalorian culture and the lore and just the overall projects that center around it. But I don't know. I'm kind of glad that we just got to talk about Star Wars as a whole. Again, like with the game that we played during our podcast, I think that makes perfect sense right now. So,
So, so their whole planet is basically inhabitable, but isn't there that underground like city that like Bo-Katan and Mando found, or am I mistaken?
oh, the underground city in the in Mandalore?
Yeah. Like, do you think that they're gonna not the one where like they like where Go Grogu went and trained, but like the one when Boba Fett or not Boba Fett, Mando and Boba Katan went to like it was like completely abandoned and everything in that
Oh,
giant
yeah,
cave.
yeah. Yep.
You remember that?
Mhm.
So why don't they just like you know rebuild it up and live there instead of just
That's
in
what they
like a little
did at
cave?
the end of
Oh, okay.
that's what they did at the end of season 3 is they just started rebuilding Mandalore in a sense. Cuz when they found
Okay.
out it was inhabitable because that was the other thing too is the Empire kind of made it like propaganda basically that you couldn't live on Mandalore anymore, but that was just so that the Mandalorians would be scattered and they wouldn't be a force to be trifled with. But when the Mandalorians find out, like, hey, we can breathe and we can live on this planet, we just have to rebuild, we need to reorganize, and we can take on the rest of the, Empire's remnants and keep it from ever existing again. Like, now that that is like a confirmed thing for them, they're going to rebuild, they're going to regrow their army, and they'll probably help the rebellion fight against the Empire, which I would absolutely love to see. And it'd probably be the better version of the last episode of the sequel trilogy, just in my opinion.
So that kind of gets me excited to think about that because I kind of forgot that they did that. So it kind of gets me excited on the fact that like maybe like in the Mandalorian movie with Grogu, we might see like it rebuilt back together or everything being like good again for them and like see the planet back into life and stuff like that, you know?
Yeah, like I think that's what they might touch upon in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. Like, cause that's what I'm hoping. It's a continuation of the show, not just a one-off for, like people that didn't watch the show to enjoy as well. Like, I think it's an important show to enjoy along with, you know, like just knowing everything in a sense. Not in a like a oh you need to watch every bit of this to understand this, but more so like it's more enjoyable to understand everything. Like not just
Yeah.
a throwaway project for them to like make more money and everything. Plus it
Cause
would
like I love it when shows like show a part of it where they have like where they lost everything, but then they gain everything back again. I love it when shows do that stuff. So
I was
I think it would be cool.
I was gonna say redemption arcs are some of the like best arcs. Like people that kind of like grow from a trial or whatever. Like I just think that's yeah, I definitely agree with that. Is like it's it's such a good way of storytelling because it can show people like even in fictional stories like people that go through like the hardest crap come back like 10 times stronger. So, yeah, no, I definitely agree with you there. All right. Well, we are just about wrapped up. Do you have any more concluding thoughts with the Mandalorians or Star Wars in general?
Not really.
All right. Then, without further ado, thank you everybody so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Also, let us both know what you'd like to see more of in the podcast and on our own channels. If you guys have not already, please go check out Phantom Voyager, spelled exactly like on the screen. If you guys are just listening, though, Phantmvoyager. So there's no O in Phantom, no E at the end of Voyager. Go check him out on both Twitch and YouTube. I think he might still be Griffin Shock on YouTube, but go check him out regardless and check out some of his content. It's more exclusive than mine, so like if you want to see some different stuff, definitely go check him out. If you guys are already here on the Twitch account right now, you guys know I stream here every Saturday and upload every Monday to our Sense of Humor podcast YouTube channel. And then I have a YouTube channel myself as well at multi-might at youtube.com or however it goes. But anyway, again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Peace.